a little bit of No Mercy 2025 review. Now, you see the title, and you already know. Show was okay. It wasn't great. It was good. It was good. But next to Rickiy doing what he did, we get an announcement. That is extremely worrisome. Easily, you can worry. But you're going to say, dude, what are you talking about? We're getting what we want. We're getting a show between the two companies. Listen what I say when I say what I say. Particularly, a lot of you tend to have short memories of what we once had a long time ago, and we still got a lot of the same people who book. Now, first match, Devon Evans versus Josh Briggs. Now, there was a reason why we got this match. I did state this, possibly before Leon Slater won the X Division title or afterward. Don't know. I don't really remember. Probably before. I'm not going to say I just called that this would be great. After he won it, I know I did say it. But I think months before, or maybe a month before, I can't really remember, I said, you know what would be an interesting match? Devon Evans versus Leon Slater. We would figure out which one was a bit better, either by not only by charisma and style in the ring and the high flyingness, but who has been the most developed. That is what I stated, and that is why this match happened instead of on pretty much on NXT TV. It had to be here in No Mercy because they got only a couple of weeks left, and they want to hype up a Devon Evans, which they did. It was a good match. It wasn't one of the greatest I've ever seen Josh do and Devon do. They both have good chemistry, so they did a good match. Not a great match, but a good one. Devon won. Question now is, what are they going to do? As I said when I did my Victory Road video yesterday, what are we going to get for the next couple of weeks before Bound for Glory? I think it's about 2 weeks left. It's on the 12th. Are we going to see Devon on Impact? Are we going to see Leon Slater show up on NXT? One of the two has got to do something. My guess is we're going to see a Leon Slater go to NXT. There's no way we're not going to do it because since they are still filming, unless it's going to be a live show next week for TNA, because we are getting the Elegance brand going for trying to retain their titles. So it's going to be a big question. Are we getting a new, possibly live show on TNA TV? Or it's just going to be recording that was already done because we already knew what happened with Ash. And I say this again, whatever happens to Ash, because I did check, it's undisclosed. We don't know what happened to her. She doesn't look like herself, though. She looks like something's off with her. Not that she's not an ugly woman. She's a beautiful woman. But she looks off. Something's not right. Don't know what it is. Maybe it's mental. Maybe it's physical. We don't know which one it is. And if you speculate, but you don't know. There's no evidence yet of what it really is. So let's hope she gets better. But we will know eventually what's going to go on with Devon Evans and Leon Slater. Next match, Women's Speed Championship. Now, Ren, I believe her name is Laylee Ren. She couldn't wrestle. She's injured. So we got Miss Jada Parker versus a Saruka for the Speed title. And I'm going to be honest here. Don't care. To be honest, it's beneath. And I'm being honest here. This is me. I'm sorry. I understand the reason why the Speed title is on TV. Because they want to give women more titles to mess with. They got only the world title and the North American title. They wanted a lower tier title so they'll feel something. And for the men's Speed, they have not even presented it yet. It's just the Women's Speed Championship right now that is being presented, not the men's yet. I understand why they do it on NXT TV because they want to have more titles for more people to work with. But do I really care about that title? No. Do I believe it's beneath Miss Parker and Saruka? Yes. I'm sorry. If you're going to have that Speed show, leave it on the damn Speed show. If you've gotten rid of the Speed show, put the Speed titles on Evolve. Because they just showed advertisement. Well, people from Evolve. Why didn't you just throw the Speed titles on Evolve? Why didn't you put the Speed titles on NXT? To be honest, I don't care. I would have rather seen the AAA main titles on NXT That would make more sense, particularly what happened with a little bit of Ethan Page dealing with the Latin American champion. That would have made more sense than you and So Ruka don't deserve that title because she's better than it. Jada Parker don't deserve that title because she's better than it. And most of the roster that has been built up for the last 2 to 3 years don't need to even touch the male or female speed titles. That's the end of it. Moving on. And so Ruka keeps it. That's obvious. Moving on. Next. Let's go through Ethan Page versus Tavion Heights match. I know I'm skipping around. I want to skip because I want to leave this next match, which was the Weapons Steel Cage match, is next. Did I care about this match? Yes, they've been building up for quite a while. They have been building it, and we know they really want to make Tavion Heights mean something, and Ethan Page for that matter. So we've been getting this build, and we got the match. Was it a good match, though? It was okay. I've seen Tavion rest better. The reason I'm botching here is legitimately I've seen Tavion Heights wrestle better than this. Ethan Page wrestle better than this when they were paired together. So seeing this match, it felt like it wasn't really that great. It was okay. And there's no way you can say it wasn't bad. It was okay. But legitimately, I've seen way better. And this did not feel great. For me personally, I'm sure many others will say, dude, it was great. Not to me. It did not feel great. It felt okay. It felt almost like a downgrade of the match. The last couple of matches they've had where they've actually put in way more effort than this. So, of course, Ethan managed to retain. And then I don't know the guy's name. Just that he's the Latin American champion for AAA, which is basically NXT Latin America at this point, or Mexico. So we're going to have to build with them now. Do I care? No. Sorry, no. I don't care about AAA. Because AAA is not AAA, it is NXT Mexico. And if they're going to keep showing the shows of AAA on YouTube, not a PLE, YouTube, I'm not going to really think they're important. They're just the grind mill for WWE. Next match, which was the second best match for me. When it comes to the quality in the ring, not the story, the quality, because the story between Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace is okay, but it's not one of the best I've ever seen. But we got them in a steel cage with weapons. A weaponized steel cage. Like Lockdown, to be honest. I think it was more of a Lockdown match when they brought down the cage and then they got all the stuff hanging everywhere. That's what it felt like to me personally. And these women bust their ass in that match. It was pretty good. Seeing that one of the things they wanted to do was to make some level of drama was for Jordan Grace's hair to get cut off. You don't cut women's hair. They don't like that shit. They get pissed. And Jordan Grace, after she got her hair cut off, she goes into her head and go, what the fuck did you do to me? After she was zip tied to one of the ring ropes. I'm like, okay, it's on. Was it a bad it's on? No, it was a good it was on. In the end, Jordan Grace won the match. But is it over? No. I believe the only way this is going to be over is when one of them moves to the main roster, and that will probably be Jordan Grace. She's the most developed right now. Blake Monroe is not developed enough, even though she has history from AEW and how her character worked in AEW. She needs more time, and I truly believe that Jordan Grace will not get the NXT title. I truly believe she's just going to move on to the main roster. She's the most developed of any woman on that roster. I'm sorry. If you guys love everyone else or anyone else, look, I love Lash. And she got attacked. Well, basically, the match I'm going to talk about. Well, I already talked about the match. I mean, when you see Miss Parker getting messed with when it comes to Lash Legend, they start fighting again, and they're going to have another match, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised this story's not over, and I do like Lash and Miss Parker. But neither one of them is developed as Jordynne Grace. She's ready for the main roster compared to, and understand, I'm not against these women. Stephanie McKeer, I'm not against her, but she has no story. She has no development. She's got no character. Only now they're doing something with Julia, working with Miss James, Kiana James. I'm sorry. That is the only time she feels developed now because she has a mouthpiece for herself. When it comes to Stephanie, she's got nothing. And that pisses me off. I want more for her than just to be a Latin American woman getting the damn title because you're pushing AAA. Moving on. Lola Vice versus JC James. This was all story. Story about a little Cubana girl who became a martial artist who's now become a pro wrestler. Her dad was in the audience. Her family was in the audience. That is the story they gave us. Is it a good story? It's okay. It wasn't a bad one. And the big bad JC James was the one who was in her way to become champion. Now, Lola has tried 2 times before this, so this was her 3rd attempt. I didn't know who was going to win. I wasn't trying to figure out who was going to win. I didn't think Lola was going to win, but I didn't know if JC was going to win. I didn't know. I was purposely trying to stay open-minded because this is about, is Lola Vice developed enough as a character to go forward as a champion? Or, even if she doesn't win, is she still developed enough to be a major player in the main title scene of NXT? That is what we got. And when you watch the match, it was a good match. I think one of the best matches I've seen for Lola Vice. JC, she's always gone up and gone down a little bit. She's never been bad. She's been mostly consistent. But she has fluctuated between being average to easy above average, then average. I think once or twice I've seen it go very good. And then she just jumps right back down to average. That is how she's been. She's been consistently solid and can rise to the occasion to a certain point. And that's what we got in this match. Now, I do not know who the master assailant is. We already know that Jasmine Nix has been released from the company. I've made a video on her yet. I've not done it yet. But she has been released, so I do not think that's Jasmine. Who do I believe it is? I don't know. It could be a returning NXT star that has some type of beef against Lola. And she's had more than a few people that has been an issue in her past. So I don't know. I think at least 2 or 3 people. But it's going to be a question who it is. But I'm just saying that now that she's lost, that JC realized someone else did it, we'll find out this Tuesday who is that. Because there's no way that person is going to show themselves. Now, Joe Henry, he showed up. And I know the rumors that he's going to leave. And I know the rumors that he may turn heel. And I said I'm leaving it open. I don't know which one it is, and I don't want to try and dig with other people to find out. I already know the rumor. So you don't need to tell me that the rumors are this. I already know them. But the question is this. Depending on how well they're going to book Invasion, and I'm going to cover that in a few minutes, what will we get with him before Bound for Glory? Because understand, no matter what, he's still showing up on NXT TV. He's still showing up on Impact. And we're only a couple of weeks away from Bound for Glory. The question's going to be, what are they going to do with him the next couple of weeks? And what is he going to be like either at Bound for Glory or afterward? Because no matter what you do, if you want to make him look like something when he leaves or when he turns, excuse me, I got a little congestion. The big question is going to be this. How are they going to develop him on NXT and TNA? They got to do something before he leaves, if he leaves, or if he's about to turn. They got to make it look right. Now, last match of the night, we get the best match I've seen Uber Femi do versus a good match from Rickiy Saints, my boy. I've seen Rickiy Saints since 2018, guys. I've said it before. I've said it again. When he was in NWA, when he was a TV champ, I could tell Mr. Absolute was something that was going to mean something. No one else hadn't seen him yet, or if they did see him, they didn't see nothing in him. But I'd already seen him before, like MJF. I knew MJF was something when I saw him with the National Wrestling League. That was KC. Many, many years ago. It's debunked now. It doesn't seem to exist as it is. Well, when it was, when I saw it. It's something different, I think. But I knew Rickiy Saints, Ricky Starks, and MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, when I first saw them, I could see there was something special. And you watch this match, you'll see why. The person that had to do the most legwork here was Rickiy Saints. He had to sell everything Uber Femi was giving him. Now, mind you, Uber Femi did really well. Not only did he do a lot of power, he had to make it look good when Rickiy was getting over on him. So this match had good chemistry between the two. Seeing that slap to the chest nearing the end of that match to Rickiy Saints' chest, when you think Rickiy Saints already did two DDTs already, and you think Uber was down. Uber was down. Nope. He whacked him like he owed him damn money. Let me say that again. He whooped his ass like he owed him damn money. That is how it looked. And that was well done by Uber Femi and Rickiy Saints selling it. But in the end, I didn't know who was going to win. And I wasn't trying to know, even though it would have been obvious if I had to really think about it. I wouldn't expect Uber to lose. Not Uber, I keep saying Uber, like an Uber car or Uber Eats. Uber to win, not win. But I would have been wrong. Because if I had to guess which one it was, I would have thought Uber would have won. But Rickiy Saints won. And I'm like, okay, they were willing to do it here. They did it. And I'm like, yes. This is the only time I think Rickiy Saints looked right as a champ. When he became North American champion, I did not like it because I felt it was so rushed. They wanted to just throw a damn title on him, and they didn't really give him a lot of development at all. But for the last few months that he's been on the roster, they have allowed him to develop himself, and now he's over. And now it makes sense for him to have a title. I wish he had not gotten the North American Championship because it made no damn sense for him to get it when he was there that early. It just didn't feel right. Here it did. And Oba looked great. Not because he sold his ass off the best. No. He looked great because not only did he give, he took, and he sold it correctly. Remember, a lot of people don't sell correctly when you do sell. And he sold it. Now the question is going to be, when the rematch happened, and are they going to build into the rematch, or are they just going to do a quick rematch, just let Oba possibly lose again to Rickiy? Or are they going to build into it? That's just my question. Okay. Finally, the announcements. Well, announcement with two announcements within it. Because of the story they have now told so far with TNA. Now understand. I want to make this clear to you guys. Because you're not going to understand. I am not against TNA working with WWE. Okay? But I am obviously seeing how biased it is. WWE does not truly care about TNA. They're using them. We already knew this. But we didn't know how much abusing was there in this collaboration. We didn't know how much WWE is going to start using TNA more than TNA was going to use WWE, because they are. TNA and Carlos Silva is doing everything he can to try and take any little bit of whatever exposure they're getting from WWE he can. Understandable. TNA is a smaller company. It's worth maybe $20, $30 million compared to several $billion of WWE, at this point, Silver Lake WWE. because it's not Endeavor anymore. It is Silver Lake. No matter what anybody says, and they say it's Endeavor Group Holdings, no. Silver Lake owns WWE. It owns... I know people are just not going to believe this, but Silver Lake owns Endeavor, now owns WWE, it owns UFC. They own it all. So clearly, there's no way TNA and Anthem can compete. They can't. Anthem is nothing compared to the juggernaut of when it comes to an Endeavor, which is now owned by Silver Lake. But we knew that Carlos Silva's going to do whatever he can to make some type of exposure, that can do some more work, and that can get some more money. And the last year and easily months, he has done that. So, well, technically, he hasn't done it. It was the guy before him, and then he just added on top of it. That's how it's been. But now, we got the announcement because of the attack that TNA did coming in, attacking, and doing it last week. They're now going to have a show on October 7th called NXT Invasion, where they're going to have matches on Invasion, and 2 of them are going to be Survivor Series style matches. Probably one for the woman, one for the men. And probably the rest is going to be a mixture of TNA and WWE NXT matches, counting in how much they can squeeze in. Do you understand what's about to happen? Do you know what is about to happen now? If you don't, let me remind you. Between, 2005 to 2015. Do you remember those Survivor Series matches? Between Raw and SmackDown? Do you remember when Raw was head-to-head with SmackDown, doing these 5-on-5 matches of who is the most supreme brand? Is it Raw? Is it SmackDown? Tell me how that ended. Over a 10-year period, from 2005, I believe, they've been doing that until at least 2015. And I know they went a little bit further than that, but I'm just saying over a 10-year period. How many times did SmackDown win against Raw? I'll give you some time to think about it. Think. You could think about it. You could think. I know it's hard because it is 10 years of Survivor Series 5-on-5 matches for the men. Some women, they did have women too, but for the men. Time's up. None. Not one show, not one, that I can remember in Survivor Series where it was SmackDown versus Raw, did SmackDown ever win a 5-on-5? Yes, they managed to get some people pinned, but did they ever win one? No. And now they've decided, with their incredible wisdom, don't care, you know who they are, Paul Levesque and the bosses above Paul Levesque. Because remember, this is what not many people want to accept. Paul may be the one who runs the day-to-day operations for creative. He still has to listen to the ones that are over him. And understand, Ari Emanuel is still the CEO. And his daughter is still part of creative. And no matter what you say, he still has input. And next to that, I just don't see Paul Levesque on top of that wanting to give TNA that type of shine. We are still talking about one company working with another that is this one versus this. And they're not going to be willing to start messing up their own reputation for a smaller company. Look how they've been put. When have you seen any of the TNA wrestlers win a championship on NXT? Think about it. Not one. We've seen NXT wrestlers win their titles. They won the world title. They won the women's title. The X Division not the X Division. The X Division championship, if it's going to be put on Bound for Glory, I don't know if they would let Devon Evans take it. I don't think so. But the Knockouts, once again, has a woman leading it, and Kiana Jordan. And do you really believe that this is going to end well for TNA? Now, mind you, TNA Wrestling is going to be tickle pink. They're doing a joint a joint show with TNA. They're not going to have a problem with it. And I'm telling you right now, none of the wrestlers are going to have generally a problem with it. Yeah, there might be a few that's going to say, this is kind of unfair. But they're going to be probably fine with it. But you know who are going to be the ones not going to like it? Us. The hardcore fans, or at least people who review it, who knows how WWE operates, even with its own internal brands act. Because Raw was always dominant over SmackDown for 10 years straight. They never lost a single Survivor Series brand versus brand match. Not one. And even with this being NXT, I do not see that happening. Just like when AAA goes up against NXT, again, I don't see AAA winning here either. Understand, this is always going to be about the main brand, and the ones who are part of it, like AAA, who is now owned by WWE, and TNA, that is working with WWE, they're always going to get a little bit, and then they're going to get slammed. That is how I feel. Now, I want to say this. I will give this. When this invasion happens, and TNA does win a match, that is important, like the 5-on-5, I will be, okay, I was wrong. I'm not going to say, well, I didn't get good information or this. I'll say it. I'll eat crow. I'll say, dude, I'm so happy it happened. I'm glad I'm wrong. That is an honest reviewer. That, yeah, he does protection, but if he says he's wrong, he's wrong. Nothing wrong with that. That's just how I feel. So if the women and the men have a 5-on-5, and let's say TNA sweeps it and wins both of them, I will say, holy shit, WWE, well, Silver Lake WWE, had the understanding that they want to make their collaborating company look good. And yes, they lose on a they lose on a show. Fine. It's not going to hurt them. In fact, it'll give them more content to work between each other. Instead of it being what everyone expects it to be, that TNA is about to get his ass whooped by WWE and NXT, they actually beat NXT. And then the wrestlers of NXT can be booked to be like, I cannot believe we lost. We gotta fuck with these guys to get back what we lost. But it's just me. And I hope you enjoyed this No Mercy review. Please give me a comment below. Peace. I'm not gonna put any images in just in case. I'm thinking about no images, but just in case, I'm not doing it. Peace.